The story of Kate Martin is one of quiet resilience, of strength disguised as humility, and of how a single phone call can reroute a career that seemed destined to fade. Before the cameras and the bright lights of the WNBA, before the cheers of Chase Center or the heartbreak of Las Vegas, Kate Martin was the backbone of an Iowa team that changed women's basketball forever. She wasn't the flashiest name on the roster, nor the one dropping logo threes that broke the internet, but she was the glue, the silent pulse that kept the team steady. And if you really want to understand how Caitlin Clark ended up saving Kate Martin's career, you have to go back to where it all began. Inside Carver-Hawkeye Arena, where two very different players discovered that their games, and maybe even their fates, were intertwined. Kate remembers the first time she heard about Caitlin Clark like it was a rumor that didn't quite make sense. Everyone was talking about the girl who averaged what felt like 1,000,000 points in high school, the one who played like she'd already seen the future of the game and decided she wanted in. Kate, the older and more grounded Hawkeye, wasn't sure what to expect. "Oh, this girl thinks she's going to come here and rule the world," she once joked. But then Caitlin arrived, and that's exactly what she did. Right away, she took command of the court with the confidence of a veteran and the skill set of a prodigy. At first, Kate didn't quite know what to make of her. Caitlin's swagger was undeniable, her work ethic relentless. She was in the gym constantly, treating every drill like a battle, every scrimmage like a war. Kate had never seen that kind of energy before. Not just hunger, but an obsession with excellence. The two became polar opposites that somehow fit perfectly together. Caitlin was the electricity, the viral highlight, the chaos that made fans scream. Kate was the grounding force, the calm between plays, the voice that steadied the storm. Together, they turned Iowa into more than a basketball team. They became a movement. Before their run, Iowa women's basketball wasn't even a national story. It was a solid program, sure, but not the kind that filled arenas or broke streaming records. Then came Caitlin and Kate, turning every home game into a spectacle, every possession into a masterclass in chemistry. Kate wasn't there to compete with Caitlin, she was there to complete her. When Clark launched those deep threes, Kate was the one crashing the boards. When Clark drew double teams, Kate was the one flashing to the open space for the easy bucket. And when chaos threatened to swallow them in the biggest games, it was Kate who calmed the floor, meeting eyes with her star teammate and reminding her, "Deep breath, it's going to be okay." Their first Final Four run in 2023 became something of a fairy tale. The world remembers Caitlin's heroics, dropping 40 points and dethroning the undefeated South Carolina Gamecocks, but Kate's fingerprints were all over that win. She averaged 13 points and nearly 7 rebounds during that run, numbers that prove she wasn't just a supporting act. She was the system that allowed the superstar to shine. Against South Carolina's Twin Towers, Kate was everywhere, boxing out, rotating on defense, setting screens that freed Caitlin for those impossible stepbacks. When the buzzer sounded and Iowa pulled off the unthinkable, Kate called it the highlight of her career. It wasn't just about the victory, it was about executing perfectly when no one believed they could. Their partnership became telepathic. Caitlin knew when Kate was going to cut before she even moved. Kate could sense when Caitlin needed space to operate and when to crash the glass for a second chance. They weren't just teammates, they were extensions of each other's instincts. Iowa's offense thrived because of that invisible thread, the balance of fire and focus, of star power and structure. And through it all, Kate never demanded the spotlight. Her leadership came from trust. She built relationships off the court, made teammates feel seen, and turned chemistry into something tangible. She called it relationship equity, and it was the reason Iowa's locker room never fractured under the pressure of fame. But college glory is only a chapter, not the whole book. The WNBA is an entirely different world. Faster, meaner, less forgiving. Kate Martin found that out the hard way. When the Las Vegas Aces drafted her, it felt like a dream. She was joining a championship team loaded with stars, led by the indomitable Aya Wilson, one of the best to ever play the game. On paper, it looked like a golden ticket. In reality, it was a slow descent into invisibility. At first, there was hope. In May, she averaged around 20 minutes per game, a respectable showing for a rookie adjusting to the pro level. But as the season wore on, her minutes shrank, her role vanished, and the confidence she once carried like armor began to crack. By September, she was down to 11 minutes a game. In the playoffs, things hit rock bottom. 6 games, 3 total minutes. 3. That wasn't player development. It was erasure. The problem wasn't effort. Kate practiced hard, stayed ready, did everything right. But the Aces were a dynasty built around hierarchy, not opportunity. Veterans ruled the rotations, and rookies like her were more placeholders than prospects. Aya Wilson, Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, these were the anchors of a powerhouse. There was no space for a newcomer to grow, no patience for mistakes. Kate wasn't being tested, she was being ignored. Every game spent on the bench chipped away at her belief that she belonged. She'd gone from being the glue that held a Final Four team together to the player holding a towel on the sideline. The system that once celebrated her IQ and selflessness now punished it. She didn't have the green light. She didn't even have the yellow one. And yet, even in those moments of doubt, she never complained publicly. She kept her head down, doing what professionals do, waiting for her chance. Then came the phone call. At her lowest point, questioning whether she even had a future in the league, Kate reached out to the one person who had always understood her best, Caitlin Clark. The conversation started casually, just two old teammates catching up. But beneath the small talk, Kate's voice carried something heavier, uncertainty, frustration, that quiet ache of feeling forgotten. Caitlin, dealing with her own battles as a rookie in Indiana, immediately recognized the pain. She had seen the same doubt creep in when her shots weren't falling, when critics questioned if her college dominance would translate. But she also knew the truth about Kate Martin. "You're not failing," Caitlin told her. "They're failing you." Those 6 words hit harder than any motivational speech ever could. For the first time in months, Kate heard what she'd been too scared to admit. The problem wasn't her talent, it was her environment. She was trying to bloom in soil that didn't want her to grow. That realization flipped everything. Leaving Las Vegas wasn't quitting. It was survival. When the Golden State Valkyries entered the expansion draft, Kate's name came up as one of the unprotected players. It stung at first. After all, not being protected feels like rejection. But then she saw it differently.